All right, do it.
It's nice to sit with you today.
Just introduce yourself, please.
Oh, I'm Shaheen. I'm a Muslim. I'm Zara's neighbor. I'm a physician assistant, a mom of two, soccer mom, and a health and wellness coach.
Very busy.
Yes.
That's good though. What is one thing you wish people knew about Islam and Muslims?
I wish people did not think that all Muslims are extremists. I wish they knew that people who are Muslims are peace-loving people in general, that you believe in humanity and being good to each other.
Definitely. What is your favorite thing about Islam?
The sense of unity and community, quite honestly, and the sense of always trying to better yourself and better those around you, and support each other.
Well, that's really nice. Do you think it's hard to be a good Muslim while living in the States?
Nope. Pretty straightforward, right? No, I've lived in the States for the majority of my life. I have been here since I was 8 years old, and I think that even when I wasn't as practicing, I think I still embodied Muslim values, you know, and I think that Muslim values are actually common values. They're Christian values, they're Jewish values. It's about, I simplify it to living by the golden rule. So I think if you live by the golden rule, you're a good Muslim.
It's good. I like that. In the media, you see, is that you see? I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm. In the media, we see that women are oppressed when they wear hijab. Are they really? And then what is the status of women in Islam?
Oh, nope. I don't think in hearing everything that I do in my life, I don't think you could say that I'm oppressed at all. And I am your typical Muslim woman. I am a mom. I am a daughter. I am a community member. I'm an activist. I am a professional. I help people feel better about themselves. I help cure people's illnesses in the hospital. There's nothing that a woman cannot do in Islam. It's about helping people and just being your best self. There's women in politics in Islam. There's women in the legal system in Islam. There's women teaching. Mothers are that's like the epitome of like what a woman, mom is your teacher, she's your cook, she's your nutritionist, she does everything.
Mm-hmm.
Take it out to the world. That's a Muslim woman.
Did you grow up here or in another country?
No, so I was born in East Africa. I was born in Tanzania, but we moved here when I was in the 2nd grade. So I've been here for a long time.
You don't have to give us the actual number.
Yeah, a long time.
What did you feel was difficult for you?
I think initially when we moved out here to Long Island, to suburbia, because we initially lived in Queens. So in suburbia, there weren't a lot of Muslim people here at that time. There weren't a lot of brown people here at that time. Mm-hmm. So, being different was, as a child, a little bit unnerving and kind of like off-putting, because I was like, why do we have to be so different? But as you grow up, you realize that that's your identity. You stick true to yourself. You kind of get that foundation of what it is, what your family is, what your morals are, but you're able to kind of bring that and show that to people who have never experienced that, and they're not coming at things with a bias. Yeah, my skin color is different. I'm a little bit more tan than you, but I was like, a new neighbor comes in, we take cookies or we take something over. I mean, it's that simple. You come to a potluck, you bring stuff. You're playing, you're having a barbecue, you invite people over. It's simple things like that that you get to show people who have never encountered a Muslim person, a brown person. Like, you realize that feeling like you're out of place, like feeling like you're like the square peg trying to get into a round hole, it's okay to be different as long as you're being your best self.
Very nice. With everything that's going on in the media, are you worried for yourself or your children?
In New York, no. In the rest of the world, a little bit. And before this political, season, I definitely would have said definitely not New York. And now in certain places, I'm like, maybe, if I see certain things kind of popping up on people's lawns and things like that, I was like, oh, I didn't know. Not because I think that, everybody doesn't have a right to what they believe. I think absolutely. You know what? Like, I'm practicing my religion. That's something that honestly, I'm a Shia Muslim. If I was living in Saudi Arabia, I wouldn't be able to tell people I'm Shia. So in a Muslim country, I couldn't tell people my faith. Mm-hmm. So the fact that I can tell that in the U.S. is amazing. So it's a freedom that I value, that I love, and I'm like, you do what you want. You believe in the faith that you want. You practice your beliefs. As long as you're not hurting each other, it's fine.
It's really that dangerous?
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. There's raids in
That's
your home.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Even in parts of Pakistan where my husband is from, Shias are targeted. Shia professionals are kidnapped. And that's a Muslim country. So that doesn't happen here. So I'm blessed that I'm here, and that I can say that I'm a Shia Muslim, and that I can wear my hijab, and I can, not be afraid to do it. Do I think that, if I were to travel to certain places, like if I were to travel to a remote rural area, do I think that people would give me strange looks? Heck yeah. But guess what I do? I smile. I smile and say hello.
With kindness. Right?
And that's it. And then usually they're like, yeah, and I open a door for somebody. You do something that you take for granted because that's just your nature, and you win them over. But people have to be accepting of that.
Exactly. What are your thoughts on ISIS, Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, any of those situations?
So I think that killing for the sake of killing is wrong. Doesn't matter your religion, whatever, it's wrong. Like, who are we to take lives? I was like, there's two truths in life. You were born and you will die. What you do in between. But I was like, who am I to take somebody's life? Even in Islam, like, you're not supposed to take somebody's life. Yes, there's certain legal whatevers, for in the penal system, and I'm not well versed to talk about that, quite honestly. But there's never justification to kill innocent people, ever. And if you look at what ISIS does, they suicide bombers or truck bombs and whatever, they go into like marketplaces and they blow themselves up. And who cares what's around them? They're just creating destruction. That's not Muslim. ISIS targets Shias more than it targets anybody else. I was like, so they talk about being Muslims, yet they're killing Muslims. Mm-hmm. Like, how is that right? Black Lives Matter. Every life matters. Blue Lives Matter. Yeah. You know what? Police officers put their lives on the line every single day to protect us. Thank you. Hats off to you. Because I tell you, I couldn't do it. I'd be scared. But they do it every single day, day in and day out. Do I think that mistakes in judgment happen? Heck yeah, we're human. Does that mean that we take it upon ourselves to be judge, jury, and executioner? No.
What are your views on other religions?
Practice what you believe. Be free to do it. This is the one country where we can. So if I believe in what I do, because I believe it to the core of my being. Yes, I grew up in it, but it speaks to me inside. So Judaism may speak to you, Christianity may speak to you, Hinduism speaks to them. Okay, I was like, there's nowhere that it says that we're all the same person with the same beliefs. Life would be boring, you know? Even if you look at the crux of Islam, it talks about being neighborly and being accepting and, you know, being the good neighbor. You know, there's no compulsion in religion. You're not supposed to make people convert to your religion. You're not. If they choose to change their religion because maybe they find a higher truth in something else, okay. But you're not supposed to. There's no, like, even in the times of the Prophet, the Christians lived in the Christian community. The Jewish lived within the Muslim state, and they had their rights. They could lead their businesses, they could hold their prayers, they had their ceremonies, but they were all protected under that state. That's from the beginning of Islam. So why can't we do that now?
I actually have a question that's not even on the sheet, but is there any, I'm not sure what they're called, but like sayings or proverbs that really stand out to you in your religion that you feel is really important to you?
Yeah, there's a few things. I mean, quite honestly, it's funny because I mentioned it before. Like, really, it's the golden rule. I mean, and it comes in many different kind of ways of how it's put. But essentially, it's, you know, like, if you kill one person, it's like you're killing all of humanity. That saying is my favorite, because that really tells you, like, it's not about one person and like, or it's not about an individual, but how important an individual is in the scheme of things. Like, if I hurt one person, I'm hurting all of humanity.
Wow, that's good. What does Islam mean to you?
That's what it means.
Pretty much.
That's pretty much it. Yeah.
What has Islam taught you?
It's taught me tolerance. And that's funny because in this day and age right now, there's so much intolerance going on. But it's taught me that you will be tested wherever it is. Personal life, your faith, your everyday. Every day is a test. I mean, that's a fact of life. But you will be tested, but you won't be tested with more than you can handle, because, you know, you have that faith and that knowledge that, you know, there is something greater than you that is there. There is something like a greater good. Like, when you're struggling in school, you struggle. It's hard, but you know that at the end there's a degree, then there's a job, then there's something else. So it's that. So for me, when you're faced with tough times, you say, God's testing me, but He knows I can handle it. You know, it's kind of like that. Today I was walking. I don't know what happened. I caught on something. The seam of my pants tore. I was really thankful that I had a lab coat that covered it. But I said, you know what? I was like, all right, something else. And I was like, it's a test. I got this. I'm like, whatever. Had a really tough day, and I'm like, it's okay. I was like, I wouldn't be tested like this if I couldn't handle it, if I couldn't figure out how to do it.
That's funny. That's what my mom says to me all the time. She's like, God wouldn't test you with anything if you couldn't handle it.
Yep. My mom went through leukemia, and it was tough for our whole family. And that's actually where I think I rediscovered my faith more so. And, you know, it was a tough time, and you go through things and you're like, why, you know, and all these other things. But then you realize that there was a bigger something, and the sense of community that came about, you know, how your family sticks together. And quite honestly, had my mom not gone through that, where I was in my spiritual journey, I wouldn't be where I am now had it not been going through that.
Excuse me if I say this wrong.
That's okay.
The Quran?
Quran.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Is in Arabic. How do you understand it?
Okay. So there's translations,